Am I ready to talk about this? Because I don't know. Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Abby, and today's video is kind of gonna be like I'm just not prepared. I was driving home from work and I felt compelled to talk. So I'm just gonna talk. I'm just gonna talk. As I was driving home, I was listening to this podcast, and they were talking about mindfulness in relationships and mindfulness about just who you are and life. And I was just thinking back on the past 8, now 9 months of 2019 and how I have felt in the past, specifically January through August, how I felt in the past 8 months, the first 8 months of the year. And I was just thinking about just how sad I've been. And this is just complete vulnerability. Like, if you guys are not ready to be sad with me, just come back to this video another time. I'm probably not even gonna be that sad. I just want to talk. I just want to be vulnerable. I just want to be open with you guys about a little bit more about what I've been going through. Nothing specific, but I just feel the need to release, you know? And what better way to do it than with the platform that I have, with, you know, sharing it with you guys and possibly being able to relate to someone and possibly being able to affect someone in a positive way for them to also want to make changes in their life. Basically, I was going through my Twitter and I was just looking back at my tweets from last year, even like now, from like January until now. I don't know if you guys do that, but I go through my tweets all the time. I'm like, let me see, how was I feeling 5 months ago? And it's probably some song lyrics or some rant about how somebody cut me off when I was driving, but that's fine. But no, for real, I was going through my tweets, and aside from like some of my favorite artists dropping music like Cole and Boogie, like it would just be like just sad tweets. Whether it would be repeating a song lyric or like a portion of a song that I related to the most, I was just sad. I was just so unhappy, miserable, you know? And I'm not gonna lie, like there were moments within the past 8 months where I did feel good. I felt happy. I had happy moments, but when I think back to my experience and what I've been going through, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is not who I am. I try to like think back a lot onto where it all started. I remember feeling, for a long time, I was feeling depressed because, okay, so I feel like post-graduation depression is real. And I know it's been a while since I've given you guys like a life update. I think the last one I gave, I was talking about how I was still in school, you know, and how I was thinking about what I wanted to do after I graduate. And it was just, I felt attacked. I felt like every part of my life was telling me, you don't have it together, you don't have it together, what are you gonna do, what are you gonna do? And so I was trying to figure out what to do. And in the midst of that, you know, I was obviously looking for jobs. I was applying to different places, and I applied to this one specific organization because at the time I was really looking into nonprofit organizations. I was going to leave my current job to leave for this job. I was going to leave my current job to go to this job. I had the conversation with my boss. She was very supportive. I told her, you know, I think I want to move forward and do something else. I think this position is going to be for me. I thought because I knew someone that worked in the organization that I had, you know, like a one-up in the interviewing process, and I thought, you know, the job was mine, and I didn't get the job. And as a person who, honestly, I've gotten everything that I've wanted, and that's a weird way to put it, because I've worked for everything that I've wanted my whole life, but I've also been spoiled my whole life, being the only girl. When my parents were together, I was the only baby girl. I was the last born, you know, so everything I wanted I had. Every job I applied to I got. you know, every skill or talent that I wanted to acquire except sports. We're not gonna talk about it, but everything really that I ever wanted and that I worked for, I always got. And this was the first time that I applied to a job, or like I reached out to get something and the answer was no. And that hit me hard. I was depressed. I was so down, and it affected every part of my life. I felt like I was no good. I felt like no one could see any good in me because this one job, this one organization decided that I wasn't good enough for them. It's easy to hear from people, it's easy to hear from your friends and family, like, oh, they don't know what they're missing out on, you know, any organization, any job would be lucky to have you. Like, that all sounds great, but when you're feeling what you're feeling, when you're like down and like in the gutter, and like you're just feeling that nothing will ever be enough, it just, like, anything you hear is, it either sounds muffled or it goes in through one ear and out the other. Everything was like a no for me at that point. You know, I felt like me getting denied in that job was like the definition for the rest of my life. And I know that sounds a bit dramatic. I know it does, but I just thought I had it, and because I didn't get it, it affected me. It affected my relationships with my friends. It affected my personal relationships. It affected the way I handled myself. It affected my professional growth, like my career choices, my thoughts on what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I just had no idea about anything. That was a big factor in the commencement of my depression. And it's just so hard to admit that I was depressed, or that I've been depressed for a very long time, because it's almost like, excuse me, I didn't know I was gonna cry. It's almost like a taboo for me, because I've always been seen as the person that has it together, that works hard, that, you know, she does everything, she gets everything, she's so successful, she does everything she wants. So admitting that I've been depressed, or that I just haven't been happy for a very long time, is just very hard. I don't really talk about it. I don't really talk to my friends. I need a moment. So depression is not really a topic that I've ever kept close to me. I do understand that a lot of people go through it, and I do understand that a lot of people experience depression and sadness for long periods of time, and mental health is super important. I just never thought it would be a thing that would happen to me, and I never thought that it would occur over something so simple. I learned a lot about myself in the past 8 months. Mainly I learned, and this may sound very negative, but mainly I learned that I sabotage. But I think it all derived from that idea that I just wasn't good enough. When I feel like things are going bad, I just continue to add more bad. And I learned from that, you know, like even now, like in hindsight, looking back at the past couple of months of this year, or the past couple of months of my life, I've taken the experiences that I've had, and now in September, I think my birthday was like that epiphany, that like, whoa, wake up, you have to make a change. You know, now that I'm looking back at the past 8 months, I'm just thinking like, what you surround yourself with is so vital. What you surround yourself with will make or break you. People say it all the time, I hear it all the time, you know. I'm one of those people that I like listening to motivational videos and motivational speeches and podcasts. Like, you hear it all the time. But when you're in that shit, like, it's crazy. And I feel like I'm rambling at this point, for real. But it's just so crazy. So before I continue rambling or before I go on too long with this video, I just want to let anyone out there know who is watching this video, who is listening, or who needs an ear or a shoulder. I know this might be a virtual shoulder, or maybe what I'm saying doesn't make any sense to you, but just know that your experiences in life are a guide. They don't define you. It took me a long time to understand that. And even now as a 25-year-old, like, you would think I would have gotten this when I was 21, 22, you know, but experiences do not define you. Things that have happened to you do not define you. It is your job to work, to be, to live, to be happy. I've taken a lot of time out to do some self-care, and self-care can be whatever you want it to be. I'm a big believer in not letting self-care solely be like, I'm gonna put cucumbers on my eyes and rest for 30 minutes and that's fine. No, do something that helps you in the long run and make it a habit to do it all the time. For me, my finances are a big deal. So a big part of self-care for me was getting my finances together. That required me making a budget binder. You know, I made sure that I was saving money and I was sacrificing a lot of my wants for the things that I need, a lot of my wants for the things that I would need in the future. And I also did, you know, like, my wash days are my self-care days. You know, sometimes self-care for me is not contacting anyone, not feeling responsible for anyone's emotions, and just being responsible for my own. And I feel like self-care requires sacrifice. And I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong. They think that self-care is just like, oh my God, I'm just gonna relax. But sometimes I don't even wanna self-care. Sometimes I just wanna like sleep. And that can even extend sadness and depression and just cause this routine of unhappiness. So I like, really, it just, you need to sacrifice for your self-care. In the midst of your self-care, sacrifice is required. Like, I think about things that I've always wanted to do, like read books, which should be simple for any human being, but for me it's hard to allow myself to read or to give myself time to read. So what do? I put a book in my nightstand, and before I go to sleep, when I turn around and I'm looking at my nightstand, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't touch it today. Now I have to turn the light back on and actually read at least 3 pages tonight, because if this is something that I need to better myself, I need to make sure that I'm making the sacrifices to do it to better myself. Does that make sense? I guess this video turned out to be something that has to do more with like sadness and depression. And was there a solution in this? I don't know. But if you can relate, guys, if you can relate, let me know in the comments below. You know, let's talk about this, because I didn't talk about it. I chose not to talk about it, which is how a lot of people knew that something was going on with me, because I'm that talkative friend. I'm that extrovert that is always in someone's face, and I'm always, you know, checking up on people. And for a long time, I didn't talk. I didn't reach out. I didn't do anything. I just stayed in my sadness. Another thing that I learned too is to accept my emotions, to embrace my emotions, and to let myself feel. I never really gave myself the opportunity to do that before, because I've always been seen as this very has it all together type of person. I never allowed myself to feel. I'm very good at disguising. I'm very good at hiding the things that I feel. Although I do wear my heart on my sleeve, I can put a long sleeve over my sleeve and put it away. And I feel like that affects me. I don't know if you can relate, but that affects me a lot. So I've learned to embrace my emotions. What do I mean by that? When I feel sad, I let myself be sad. If I need to cry, I will cry. If I need to just stare at a ceiling and think, I let myself do that. But I don't let myself do it for too long. I let myself do it enough to be able to just embrace the feeling and think about what it is that I have to do to make sure that I don't stay feeling that way. I don't want to go on too long. I don't want to ramble. I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video, for allowing your ears to take in my vulnerability. Thank you so much. Let's talk in the comments below. Really, like, let me know if you can agree or disagree with what I've been saying. Let's build a conversation around this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.